I'd like to take a few minutes and talk with you about seatbelt injuries, or injuries that occur because your seatbelt was defective. It didn't work correctly. Your seatbelt is an integral part of the safety mechanism in your car. It's supposed to keep you safe in the event of a collision. And in fact, it's believed there are 2 collisions in every accident. The first one being the vehicle itself and the other vehicle or object that it hits, and the second collision being the occupants or the people inside the car and their impact with either the interior of the car, or if they're ejected or thrown out of the car, their impact with the other item, object, or vehicle outside. I want to talk to you about 2 specific parts of the seatbelt restraint system at this time. The first one is the lap belt. The lap belt injuries normally occur to people sitting in the rear of the vehicle in the center section. And I'm sure if you think about your vehicle and those of your friends and family, the ones on the side, the people who sit next to the door, they have a seat belt and they have a strap. But the people that are sitting in the middle of the seat, all they have is the belt itself. And the belt, as it fits around your waist, can cause severe internal injuries because when you have that impact, it makes their body jackknife or roll forward. And the stress that's caused by that impact causes interior injuries. The second one I want to talk about is the shoulder belt only. That means there is no lap belt. The shoulder belt gives you that false sense of security because it rests tightly against your shoulder space. What you may not be aware of is that in the event of an accident, you are very likely to submarine. That means your body will slide underneath your lap belt because the core of your weight is going to be near your hips and your waist. As you slide under the seat belt, it's caught people on the neck, causing severe spinal cord injuries and in some cases decapitated them. That's right, it took their head right off. I want to take the next few minutes and talk with you about defective seat belt geometry design and defective latching mechanisms. In the defective seat belt geometry designs, the D-ring or shoulder strap that's normally put up on the side is too high for small stature people that are short, so that it comes against their neck as opposed to coming against their shoulders. These can cause severe injuries. In the defective latching mechanism, we're talking about inertial unlatching. That's when just the event of the accident, the impact itself causes the belt buckle to pop off. Or the inadvertent unlatching. That's where some item, some object, your hand touches the top of your seatbelt latch and it releases the belt itself, causing you to have impact with the interior of the car or to eject you out of the car. You know, seatbelt design defects occur either because of design, production, or installation. However, there are some other things you need to make sure that you're aware of if you're ever in an accident, before you sell your car, before the insurance company tows it away to total it. Because you may have a product liability case in there that could compensate you for the damage that you have and that you're going to suffer in the future. So here's some other items that you need to know about if you're ever in an accident to make a determination of whether or not you've suffered a seatbelt injury. There are several things to think about as far as what may bring you to the belief that your injuries were caused by a defective seatbelt. And first of all, with all due respect to your local law enforcement, do not take the police report that the person was not latched or buckled as the only source for you to make a determination. Because if you're ejected from the car, they wouldn't know if you had it on or not, would they? If you submarine underneath your seatbelt, they wouldn't know if you had a seatbelt on or not. If you have a 3-door mount, you have the door mount, the 3-point door mount, where it's hooked to your door. If the door comes open and your seatbelt breaks or slings you out, they won't know whether you had your seatbelt on or not. Also, if you're in an accident and the first responders, normally your fire, your paramedics, or in some cases your volunteer fire department or rescue squad, if they get to you, in order to take care of you, they need to remove you from the car. They will unlatch your belt buckle. So here's something you need to think about. First of all, if the occupant was believed to have been belted in, is found unbelted at the accident. If you always put on your seatbelt, if grandmother always puts on her seatbelt, if your relative or friend always puts on their seatbelt, then the odds are they had their seatbelt on at the time. The second one is a belted occupant makes contact with the interior of the vehicle. That means that someone who has their seatbelt on, for lack of a better phrase, eats the windshield. That's what most people normally call it. have a direct head impact on your windshield, or you hit the dash, or perhaps your steering column, that would indicate a seatbelt failure. An occupant is ejected outside of the vehicle or outside the restraint of the seatbelt, but the seatbelt buckle is still latched. That would indicate a seatbelt failure. The webbing of the seatbelt is loose after the accident. The webbing on the seatbelt is torn after the accident. The door-mounted seatbelts in the vehicle were ineffective when the door of the vehicle opened. In other words, the door opened, the seatbelt relaxed because of the impact, and out the person went. These can happen in the side injury, side impact cases. The seatbelt is only a lap belt or only a shoulder belt. The vehicle occupant compartment is intact and a belted occupant is injured. That means the interior is still enclosed, the damage to the outside of the vehicle, but someone who does have a seatbelt on is injured. The seatbelt mounts came loose from the floor or the vehicle pillars that hold them to the automobile. You know, seatbelt webbing can fail because of a defect of the webbing itself, the actual material, or a sharp item on the seat frame contacting it and cutting it. You need to keep that seatbelt, you need to keep that car. Your car, your seatbelt is your evidence. It is your proof that you may have been injured by a defective